I can assure you, if you want to read more books, you can do it. It just takes a little commitment and more reading. In today's video, I'm going to share with you some tips on how to read more books. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, I am Shaloo. Welcome to my channel where I post videos related to books. If you are new here, then do subscribe to my channel for new bookish videos every week. Since childhood, I have always enjoyed reading. Reading is a great way to escape and unwind. It also increases our knowledge, focus and worldview. In short, reading is beneficial both for our personal and professional lives. All of us are aware of the benefits of reading. But that's not the concern. The biggest problem is finding time to read more books. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I didn't used to read as much as I should have. I used to read around 20 to 30 books every year. But since last 2-3 years, I have been reading 100 plus books every year. I was able to accomplish this using some simple tips which I'm going to share with you in today's video. These tips will help you fit more reading into your schedule. Remember that reading should be fun and interesting and not torture. So set realistic goals for yourself. But if you want to read more books, then these tips will help you just like they helped me in reading more than 100 books a year. So without further ado, let's get started. My first tip is make reading part of your routine. The best way to read more is to integrate reading into your daily routine. Wake up a little earlier and read while you drink your morning coffee. Or dedicate half an hour before bedtime to reading. Or spend your lunch breaks with a book. This helps in making reading a habit. I read during the day, but since some days are hectic than others, it is not always possible. Having dedicated reading times ensures that I at least read for an hour every day. I generally read in the evening or 20 to 30 minutes before I go to bed. My next tip is always have a book. When you carry a book with you, you will never get bored. You always have an opportunity to read. Waiting for a bus, during your morning commute, waiting for an appointment. All these are perfect opportunities to read a few more pages. And this is the reason I always carry a book or a Kindle with me. I often have to go out for client meetings and many times I have to wait, which I don't mind because I have a book in my handbag. Instead of letting this time go unused and getting frustrated, I pick up my book and read. My next tip is read what makes you happy. When you pick up a book that you actually want to read, it will be difficult for you to put it down. For example, I enjoy reading thrillers. I enjoy reading thrillers so much and I get so immersed in the mystery that I keep on reading till the very end. My son often asks me, what would you gain out of reading a thriller? But believe me, even a thriller can teach you a lot of things. We can keep that discussion for some other time. My point is, read what you love. That way you will be able to read more without feeling it like some kind of a burden. My next tip is mix up the genres. Now this is somewhat contrary to my previous point, but a common enemy of reading goals is reading slump, which sets in due to boredom. If you keep on reading books from the same genre, then after a while you will find them monotonous. For me, the best way to keep up my reading pace and avoid getting into a reading slump is to constantly change the genre that I am reading. Just finished an amazing memoir? Follow it up with true crime. Can't get over the last romance that you read? Pick up some sci-fi or some graphic novel next. It will keep you on your toes. Books are all about new experiences and new worlds. Then why not embrace all the varieties that the bookish world has to offer? I make it a point to read some classics and some non-fiction along with my usual dose of fiction. My next tip is set a reading goal. It is much easier to read more books when you set yourself a reading goal. It is an excellent way to encourage yourself to read more books because it is fun and interactive. The Goodreads reading challenge is an excellent way to track your goal because it turns your reading goal into a kind of a game. Ever since I have started taking up Goodreads reading challenge, I have found that I have started reading more because I am now able to track my reading. But make sure that your goal is attainable. Don't be too ambitious while setting your goal. Don't overcommit and set goals that you probably cannot achieve. When you don't overcommit, you will find that reading is less stressful. And when your reading is not stressful, you will enjoy reading more and you will be able to read fast. My next tip is read with your ears. I love physical books, but I equally love audiobooks. Listening to audiobooks is not cheating, it is just one of the many ways to enjoy a good book. Also, audiobooks are great for multitasking. You can listen to an audiobook while driving, exercising, going for a walk, daily commute, and much more. Also, it is a great way to avoid eye fatigue when you have been reading for a long time. In short, audiobooks give you more opportunities to digest even more books throughout the year. I listen to audiobooks during my daily commute and it gives me an extra hour of daily reading. If you're new to audiobooks or don't know if they will work for you, then you can start by reading a book narrated by your favorite author, like Coraline by Neil Gaiman. Or you can start listening to a collection of short stories, like Roads to Missouri by Ruskin Bond. You can even try an audiobook narrated by your favorite celebrity, like Becoming by Michelle Obama. My next tip is read more than one book at a time. This strategy may not work for everyone, but I'm always reading multiple books at a time. I have always 2-3 books beside my bedside, one on my Kindle and one audiobook when I am on the go. Having a variety of books to read is at once challenging and keeps me away from boredom. When you are reading multiple books at a time, then make sure that you pick books from different genres or style. This is what I do. It is easy to keep the plots separate and avoid confusion when you pick books from different genres. Reading multiple books also ensures that you have a book for every mood, and so you have no excuse to skip your allocated reading time. My next tip is embrace the DNF. Quitting a book midway is something that I used to find very hard to do. But now when I am finding that a book is not enjoyable or I am not finding it useful, then I put it down and start reading something else. Forcing yourself to finish a book that you don't like is no way to reach your reading goal. Sticking with a book that you are not enjoying will take all the fun out of your reading and will slow down your progress. The key is to quit early and without shame. Gretchen Rubin, the author of the best-selling book The Happiness Project, says that winners don't quit mentality is not an effective mentality when it comes to reading. If you're not enjoying a book in the first 50-60 pages, then declare it a DNF and pick up some other book that you think you will enjoy. Life is too short to read the books that you don't like. My next tip is replace bad habits with books. Do you have any bad habits that you are trying to quit? Replace that habit with reading. Maybe you want to cut down on your social media or cut down on the time that you spend watching TV or the time that you spend loitering around. Replace that with reading. In my case, I have stopped watching TV. Yes, not even Netflix. I binge watch a show in a month or two. Instead of TV or Netflix, I read books. My next tip is read smaller books. Quality versus quantity is a valid opinion and I won't argue against it. But if you are reading a third book that is around 800 to 1000 pages long and a reading fatigue is settling in, then maybe you should go for shorter books. I find very long books intimidating. I have a few on my bookshelf that I have not picked up yet because of their sheer size. Also, reading shorter books make me feel productive and encourages me to read more. If you are someone like me, then try shorter books or balance your lengthy reads with shorter ones. And my last tip is get good recommendations. Reading books is much easier when you get good books that you will enjoy. But researching for good books can take up a lot of your reading time. Ask your friends for recommendations or read book reviews or ask your local librarian or bookstore seller for recommendations. Or you can also subscribe to my channel where I share new book recommendations every week. When I come across a new book that I find interesting, I either note it down in my notebook or save it on my Amazon wishlist so that I don't forget about it. I find many good book recommendations either on Goodreads or through BookTube. So these are the tips that have helped me in reading more than 100 books in a year. What tricks do you use to read more in a year? Do share with me in the comment section. And if you have enjoyed this video, then please like, comment and share. And if you want to see more such bookish videos, then please subscribe to my channel and do not forget to hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Until my next video, bye and take care.